everybody, and welcome to the show. Happy Monday morning to you. I am glad to be here, guys. Oh, just getting ready right up to the last minute. Got to do some travel today. Going to go out and try and save the world a little bit more. Watching my Twitter counts go down on a daily basis because, well, Twitter seems to be purging what we're going to call bots, except for they only seem to be doing it from conservatives, but who knows? We do pretty good on Twitter, so I can't complain too much. And I'm grateful that Elon opened up somewhat sort of quasi-free speech on Twitter. I don't know, whatever it is right now. Guys, I got to tell you, I was looking at the news this morning. And I was looking at a bunch of different things and trying to figure out what I wanted to do for the show. And, it became very clear to me that they're just, the news cycle is just not there. Like nobody knows what they're doing yet. It's Monday morning and everybody's looking around trying to figure out what to do. So I said, well, let's look at Twitter, because I frequently do that. I said, let's look and see what's trending. Let's see what's really important, because I know Twitter. I mean, Twitter is the source of news, right? It's the place to go if you want to see news. Well, outside of the show, actually, the show's even better. But we play this show on Twitter, so again, Twitter's great. So, anyways, I'm trying to figure out what the source and what to talk about today. And I go to trending on Twitter. And Mike, can you throw this up on the screen? I want to show you guys global trending, most popular things, right? Now, the first thing you see is number 1 is Happy Easter. Number 2 is He is Risen. Well, that's interesting to me because that has to do with algorithm, right? So Twitter's algorithm just absolutely sucks ass right now. I don't know what else to tell you about that. It's just not all that good. It's something that is, for some reason, the Twitter algorithm right now is such that everything that you post, it takes a day before anybody sees it. And then the second day after the news is old, well, then it starts getting a little bit more traction. So anyways, Happy Easter and He is Risen are trending very big a day late, but I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I think Twitter was trying to get things so that they could kind of see what's going to go and then help it go more after they knew, but it didn't work out really well. Instead, what you're getting is I don't know, this just delayed ability to see what actually matters. So if you look, you'll see a lot of your favorite influencers, a lot of your big stuff, it'll be a day late. So I'm looking at the Twitter thing. Then I look down. Okay, so what's going on? University of UCLA. Okay, well, I don't really care about that. So then I see it. Folks. I see the reason that the news cycle seems confused. It's because everybody didn't realize that the thing that the world cares about, not Iran, not World War III, nobody cares about that. The AG of the United States, the person who's responsible for, ensuring that we actually have bad guys put in jail, that doesn't matter. That's not an issue at all. That's kind of a secondary thought. Do we care about autism or vaccines? No, that's not on the trending list today. So what does America care about? What do we care about? Well, we care about RHOA, and particularly Porsche. Now, I have to be real honest with you all. I am not the most pop culture savvy guy on the planet. So I didn't really know what RHOA is. Now, for those of you that don't know what RHOA is, we really have to talk, because you guys, listen, we got to be better about understanding what's trending and cool. We're not. So we're going to study some RHOA today. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about why it's not as important as other things. And I felt like the best way to open the show, a show like this, was by playing you a wonderful song that I saw that makes fun of people like me, because, we're kind of irrelevant. So now you're going to have to forgive the video on this. The video is, it's just not good. I don't know why it's so bad. But the theme of the song, the importance here is in the lyrics, which are very, very moving and inspirational. And I found that this song was quite moving. I think it captures the spirit of our nation and the spirit of everything trending today. This song is titled, you know what, before we play this song, I got a grift because I'm a grifter. GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. Don't forget to donate. We need some help. We need some support. Please, your donations keep us going. Whatever you can give us. By the way, happy belated Easter. It was trending and we should be talking about it. So happy belated Easter for everybody. It's literally the most important thing that can happen per year. The day that we celebrate the risen Christ. God bless you all, and happy Easter sincerely. GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. Support us so that we can keep fighting and talk about things like that. Also, TomRenz.com, www.tomrenz.com. Check out our affiliate page. Shop all our affiliates, especially check out Global Healing, men's hormone support. We love men's hormone support. It will prevent you from having Bill Gates' penis, which you get from too many Russian hookers, I think. It seems like a real problem for him to me, especially since he had to slip his wife antibiotics to try and cover up the we don't want to get into that. But men's hormone support, GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw and globalhealing.com/TomRenz. globalhealing.com/TomRenz. All right, let me play this for you guys. This is a really moving and inspirational song that I feel like when I play this for you, you're going to feel our heart in it. This song is truly meaningful. It's deep, guys. It's deep. So you're going to get your poetic brains out and feel like you're reading, your 12th grade literature class again. Mike, let's put this up on the screen. Again, video's a little rough, but this song is titled Michelle Obama Has Got a Penis. I like the lipstick and the spitting.
The earth is flat.
It is flat.
Yeah, Epstein's alive.
Of course he's alive.
And JFK was killed by the FBI.
Well, that's kind of true.
Yeah, the CIA is listening to you.
That's very true.
You really need to pay attention to a guy named Alex Jones.
You should pay attention to him.
5G floating on in the air.
I've got a hat like that.
It's turning frogs into sissy queers and spreading cancer everywhere.
Gay frogs.
If you've heard this yet, but
I love the fat guy in his underwear.
Yeah, Michelle Obama, well, man, she's got a penis.
Oh, no. Oh, no. We can't listen. We can't endorse that.
And if you're looking real hard, you can sort of see it.
Well, maybe, but that's not a penis.
The end of the world is coming soon.
It is coming soon.
Michelle Obama, she's got a penis.
Well, I don't know. We can't endorse that.
And Asian UFOs. Yeah, there's a Nazi hideout down the South Pole.
Yeah, did you hear about this?
They got the Ark of the Covenant locked in a wooden case.
Of course they did. I saw Indiana Jones.
Yeah, the Denver International Airport is the Illuminati base. I'm not even gonna bring up 9/11.
Oh, no, don't talk about that.
But what the hell happened to building number 7? Did I mention Alex Jones yet? Well, he's a goddamn genius.
Well, he is a genius.
Michelle Obama, well, man, she's got a penis. Yeah, Michelle Obama's got a penis.
Well, now we can't prove that. Yeah, now let's show you again. That's a mic, though.
19 was a lie. They're dumping chemicals in our skies.
Oh, that's true.
Michelle Obama, man, she's got a penis.
Sing it with them. Oh, there he goes. Love the tidy whities and the tinfoil hat.
Yeah, Michelle Obama's got a penis.
Oh, man, she's got one.
And if you're looking real hard, you can sort of see it.
Okay, there you have it. Michelle Obama, man, she's got a penis. I mean, she doesn't. It's just a microphone that fell in her pants on Ellen. It just fell in her pants. It's all satire here, folks. All satire. Everything in this was satire. Michelle Obama does not have a penis. There's no direct evidence of it, and I'm not going to look. The rumors about Barack Obama being a gay man that enjoys Michelle Obama's penis are absolutely not true. They're categorically false. We want to ensure that nobody believes that ever. But it's important to understand that this is what's important today, right? Because again, I want to go back to this. The trending on Twitter. When I look on Twitter, Easter, which Easter should be number one. Easter is big. But then you go UCLA, Real Housewives of America. I found this out. We're going to go to this in a second. And there's apparently on Real Housewives of America, there's a person called Portia. I didn't know that this person exists, but there's a person whose name is Portia. That's what, because when I saw Porsche, I was like, is that like a car? The car, a Porsche? No, but there's a person. RHOA stands for Real Housewives of America. And Portia is a person on Real Housewives of America. So now I want to jump. We're going to jump up and down here, right? Because we're going to go right over I want to go over to Mario Nawfal here. Now, bear with me. This is about the pilot rescue because this is not trending. This is not important. We had a huge firefights, big things in Iran this weekend. This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. In fact, I looked over here on Facebook. We're going to bounce around, so you're going to get some screenshots all over. See, Real House. Facebook, what's trending, Artemis, Melania pushing for things, Kristi Noem, who's got a boyfriend and whose ex-husband or sort of husband dresses like a girl, and what do they call that? I don't even know what they call it, but he has fake balloon boobs or something, and we see music manager Whack. Justin Baldoni, I don't know who Justin Baldoni is, but Blake Lively's sexual harassment claims, I don't know who she is. Gucci Mane, these are trending, right? This is important. On Instagram, I looked over at Instagram. There's some stuff on here on Instagram, right? That actually does matter, but not as important as this one. This is important here. Snoop Dogg tapes a giant blunt to a gallery wall, calls it art. So by the way, look at the size of this blunt. That should be enough weed to make the entire state of California high, I would think. I mean, I'm not an expert in blunts. I'm going to be real honest with you all. I am not an expert in any way, shape, and form on blunts. But apparently I have lost out and missed out on the artistic nature of blunts. And if you create a blunt bigger than my arm and tape it to a wall, that is art. And who would ever question Snoop Dogg as an artist? I got to be honest with you. I'd be interested in shaking Snoop Dogg's hand. He's kind of funny to me. He doesn't give a damn. He's done real well for himself. But that's not as important as this, right? Iran is claiming U.S. pilot rescue may have been a cover to steal enriched uranium. Their foreign ministry says the story does not add up. They claim the pilot was reportedly down in some random place in Iran. U.S. forces tried to land somewhere else entirely. Tehran's suggesting the whole thing is a hoax. Here's the deal. We got our guy back, so I'm just glad for that, right? I don't, the rest of this, I don't know. But this is not as important as Portia. Portia is much more important. Now, we're going to get to Portia, and I want to talk about this a little bit more first. I found this from Mike Adams, Health Ranger. He reposted this. This is an interesting thing to me. And listen, I understand fog of war. I understand we don't get to know everything. And I just want us to win and get the hell out of Iran. I don't want to be there. I don't know why we're there in the first place, but we're there. So we want to support our guys and we want to, try and make sure we're winning. So here's what this guy says. Here's the narrative as described. And I think this is an interesting thing because it's not wrong. He cites every single thing here. U.S. F-15 goes down in Iran, despite Trump saying 2 days beforehand that Iran has no anti-aircraft capabilities. Now, this is an interesting thing to me because as we go through this, I want you to understand we are at war. Our guys are being shot at. People are potentially dying. Of course, we're being told no one's dying. But, there's a war going on. We've been told, much like we were told that the nuclear capabilities of Iran had been destroyed, that they have no anti-aircraft equipment and their radar's gone. Somehow, though, they did bring down an F-15. So they've got something going on. We don't know what. The plane systems officer was apparently a highly respected colonel. Now, we don't, that ejected and was seriously wounded. But he managed to hike up a 7,000-foot mountain and hide in a crevice, despite these wounds. Now, guys, I'm going through this, and I want you to understand this guy's extremely skeptical of the story. And I don't necessarily agree with the tone of what he's saying, but I think with the content's very important. U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drones started killing all Iranian military-aged males believed to be a threat who got within 3 kilometers of the Americans' location, right? So this guy, the pilot the systems officer, was, he's hiding, fighting for his life, and we send a bunch of drones to shoot anybody that's coming near him, which is awesome, right? I'm assuming that this story is somewhat accurate. I think that's kind of cool, right? I mean, I like that. If we have a guy go down, there's nothing more important than bringing him back. So I'm glad that if that part of the story is accurate, I like it. To retrieve him, the U.S. managed to seize an abandoned airport 200 miles deep inside Iran, near wherever Isfahan is, which happens to be where Iran's largest nuclear atomic science center is located. Now, that's interesting, right? We landed 2 MC-130 military transport planes involving this thing that involves hundreds of special forces and military personnel. Now, the MC-130s, my understanding is these are huge planes that carry a lot of people and a lot of stuff. I am not an expert in this, so I'm just kind of going through this as it is, and I'm taking it however it is. It sounds to me like, and I don't have an issue with this, honestly. If this is accurate, I think it's pretty cool. We send in the troops, save this guy, right? They deployed 3 new aircraft to extract all personnel because the MC-30s apparently got stuck in the sand, which I don't understand this, right? Maybe the runway was too short because these are huge planes, and we just basically took an airport. So, I guess it's possible. We send these new airplanes to extract personnel because, there's a huge amount of them. But it seems like there's a lot of personnel. And, getting them out would be a little bit of a trouble because, so the question I'd have is, are there still people on the ground? There's videos circulating of heavy clashes with missiles and all sorts of stuff during the night. So it sounds like we had a real fight. That's interesting because we're being told nobody got killed, nobody got hurt. So if we've got missiles and heavy clashes, all this stuff going around, and nobody got hurt, that's great news for us. That means we're kicking ass. But remember, fog of war. We don't know if this story's true. We don't know what's accurate. We don't know what's happening. We just know that there's a bit of a mess going on over there, right? Iran sent pictures in the aftermath of the abandoned airport. It's just chaos. But these are pictures from Iran. I don't trust anything that Iran says, nothing. Now, that said, Iran's claiming they destroyed the aircraft. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. We also have another plane that went down, an A-10 Warthog. Everybody's safe there. Multiple planes and helicopters destroyed. The point of this guy's thing, by the way, the colonel, no name. Now, he's right about this. No name, no photo, no interview. We don't know, though. I mean, in fairness, is this guy dead? Is he alive? I don't know what's going on. This guy's point in this is to essentially question Donald Trump, right? And to question the U.S. narrative. He says, Trump concludes that this all proves the U.S. has achieved overwhelming air superiority and dominance despite the whole episode happening because Iran shot planes out of the sky. Here's what I'm trying to tell you guys, because I don't know what happened. I really don't. What I do know is that if we believe the story, we saved a downed pilot, and I'm grateful for that, right? I'm happy about that. But does the story add up? Not so much. Did it happen exactly as we were told it happened? Probably not. The problem with this war and any war is you have to understand the fog of war is real and necessary. We're not going to tell Iran anything or say anything publicly that's going to give Iran any glimmer of hope. And I understand what's going on here in terms of the president trying to protect our troops. And I will say, of all the things that I've had beef with Trump about, and I grumble about Trump a lot, I will say that I do believe 100% that he is committed to making sure our troops are safe and that with whatever we're doing, they have all the ability to do what they have to do effectively. Now, I disagree with being in Iran. We should. To me, I don't think we need to be there. I don't want to be there. Iran sucks, but now is not the time. This is not the way. That said, do I believe in protecting our troops? Do I believe in not undermining our troops? Of course I do. Do I expect the president to give us every detail about every bad thing that happens? Of course not. I do not. And I really want to put this out there and talk about this because I think it's critical. Now, it's not as important as the Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? It's not. But I do think that this is a really important thing for people wherever you are. I disagree with the glyphosate order. I disagree with a lot of things Trump's doing. I don't like mRNA being on the shelves. I don't want to be in Iran. I don't like it. But we're fighting in Iran. Our soldiers are there. They can die, right? Until such time as we're no longer there, I'm all for saying, get the hell out of Iran. I say it all the time. Why are we there? What are we doing? I think that's a really important thing. But at the same time, guys, our guys are there. They can die. If something happens, if something goes down, I don't want to give aid and support for the enemy. So as far as fog of war, as far as trying to figure out what's going on, I'll talk about some of this stuff. Do I think we're being lied to? Of course. I don't think anybody's telling us the truth on this. But I don't want to undermine or give energy credence or energy, anything to the enemy. I don't think that's the right way to go with things. I think we want to, listen, this guy, this Arnaud Bertrand, who is, I don't even know where he's from. I don't really know anything about him. He's taken this very, very skeptical thing. And one of the things that I think is happening right now as I listen to the tone and the tenor of this mess in Iran is actually something that I really feared from the beginning. Nobody wanted this war. Trump promised no foreign wars. And then he goes and starts a war with Iran. Now, are we winning? Of course we're winning. But can we win? No, we can't win the peace. Iran's going to be a mess. There's nothing we can do without sacrificing many, many thousands of troops. We can bomb them into the Stone Age, which it looks like we're going to do. But if we start putting boots on the ground, it's going to be a mess over there, just like Afghanistan was. We can't change that country. The people of that country can change it. And if they don't, we're going to bomb them into the Stone Age. That seems to be Trump's plan. But because this is so unpopular, because this is such a negative thing, I knew what was going to happen. This wasn't unpredictable. It's not because I'm a genius. It's not because I've got some sort of magical insight that nobody else has. It's because it's just infinitely predictable. Nobody wanted this. Trump won the election in part on the no foreign wars promise. So now what's happening is a lot of good conservatives, a lot of patriotic people who love America, who support our military, are just, they're mad. And so they're looking for every reason to undermine what's happening over there. And it's not that they're undermining, they're trying to go for truth because they know that we shouldn't be there. And they're right about that. But we've got to be careful. Because the last thing we need to do is give encouragement to the enemy. we also don't need to undermine our troops. I don't want them feeling bad about it. Listen, I don't like what they have to do, but I want them to be safe and to do it well. It's a tough position to be in as a supporter of America and a supporter of our troops and a supporter of whatever we're doing, because I don't want to be in Iran. I don't like it. It's a terrible decision. Politically, Susie Wiles should be fired. Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro should be given a gun and shipped to Iran. Let these lunatics that want to be there go. Go ahead, Levin. Send your kids. Ben Shapiro, you can sign up and go to Iran. But I'm okay with taking wins where we can get it. Assuming this pilot came out, assuming it's real, good. God bless him. God bless our troops. And may they see a swift and decisive victory. At the meantime, we need to fire anyone who suggested that we should be doing this because it's stupid. We shouldn't be there. So, like I said, we're kind of in a position now where what do? Right? If you speak out too much and start pointing to specific instances of failures, well, that's not a good thing for our country. If you don't, then what do? You take the Shapiro or Levin sellout. They're sellouts. They're garbage. They're doing this because of Benjamin Netanyahu sending them checks every month. Let's be realistic about this. Benjamin Netanyahu's a nutbag warmonger who he doesn't care how many of his people get killed. He doesn't care who gets killed. He's got some sort of just insane, just bloodlust for war. I don't know what it is. I don't understand it. I don't care. He's a nutbag. He doesn't care how many Israelis or Jewish people get killed. He tried to jab them all with mRNA. Benjamin Netanyahu is a horrible human being. But I support our troops. I support the safety of everybody involved. So it's kind of a tough position. I'm not telling you guys what to say or how to handle this. I'm telling you that there's a lot here, and it's crappy that we've been put in this position by a guy who we fought for because he said no foreign wars, amongst other things. Listen, amongst the things that we heard Donald Trump was going to do was no foreign wars, shutting down the swamp, all these sorts of things. They're not happening. Now, none of this compares in importance to this. Mike, let's bring this back up on the screen because we have some very important videos to play here. I want you guys to hear this is important. This is super important. I don't know what this is. Padra Parks. Padra? Is that her name? No. Let's do this one. This is Portia because she's trending. I don't know who Portia is. I'm not sure which person is Portia here, but this is apparently Portia. So look at here. This is, I think, a GIF of Portia. That's really important. This was important. Did you see this one? They get this, It says Portia said black people started country music. Arguably, that's kind of true. There was a lot of. Actually, you want to know something interesting? Interesting fact, because Iran doesn't really matter. But if you're a music geek, do you know that rock and roll was actually first? It actually came from the black community. Did you know that? A little tip. Back in the days, Elvis, who was, kind of considered the king of rock. Did you know that his inspiration came from black people playing music and back in the day? And it was kind of banned because in those days there was so much racism. White people didn't like black people, and so white people didn't like their music. But the black community in this country really kind of came up with this whole thing. Let me play this clip to show you what you're missing. If you're not watching RHOA, which unfortunately I've never watched and didn't really know was a thing, this is what you're missing. For those of you that aren't hip to this is RHOA, and you can listen. I can't tell you that I understood this when I watched it, but here.
Hold on, I got a question for Portia. When was the last time that y'all were intimate?
That's Portia. There she is.
Say like 9 months? No. Since we've been back, we haven't done anything.
She nailed a bill.
What?
So now you know that Portia's been on a dry streak.
I ain't gonna lie.
Are you excited?
Add it if we figure something else out.
There's an altar right behind you.
Let's see how we look. All right, come on.
Am I an officiant?
All right, we got a VCR.
9 months this poor lady's been on a dry streak.
Portia, do you take this big tall man to be your ever
This is what you're missing,
for at least
folks.
3
This
nights
is
of
trending,
love,
guys.
affection, and dedication?
This,
Back break.
not the Iran war, this.
All right, back break. We got the back.
She seems to be missing some clothing. What is she wearing?
Simon's here. Mike, run! Run!
Oh, that's better. Much better outfit.
Portia, please write a book. Tell us the ways of your vagina, because it's strong and it's a trapper.
Okay, we'll stop on that. I don't really want to know about Portia's vagina at all. I don't really understand what I'm saying, but it's trending. This is what's trending, guys. This. Here's Phaedra Parks. We need to hear her. This is important.
Actually have the tape of the Hawks game.
So, no, I didn't look at the tape, but I asked for the tapes to be reviewed. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. This is important, folks. This is trending. Not Iran war. This, right? How about this? So we're gonna go back to some of this. There's more clips from RHOA. So stay tuned because we're trendy here. This is important. But before I get to that, let me show you this. So I was looking on X, and I was looking at the AG. Now, AG is not important, right? Because it's only the Attorney General of the United States. We don't actually care about that. So I just searched AG, which is not trending. AG is not trending in any way, shape, or form. And when I search, you can see, Mike, let's put this on the screen. At the very top, you can see I searched just the word AG, Attorney General, right? And I'm talking about this. But this explains why nobody listens to me, because it's not trending. Actually, a fair number of people listen, maybe 2 or 3. But AG is not trending. Portia is definitely trending. She's much trendier than I am. But Todd Blanche, they see my stuff on Todd Blanche. Hey, look at that. Who put that show up here? That would be us. Pfizer Pam, Massey's talking about Blanche. You can see Health Rangers talking about it, more me. Breitbart, they care about it, more me. Thomas Massey. So there's basically me, Red Pill, Health Ranger. There's a few of them. Here's Dinesh D'Souza, he cares. Nick Sorter, he cares. Benny Johnson, more me. More me. Mike Flynn Jr. Mark Lynch cares about AG. But there's only a handful of us that care about the AG as much as we care about the Real Housewives. And that makes total sense because, honestly, when you think about it, what's more important to you? The Attorney General of the United States or the Real Housewives of Atlanta? And one of the things when we look at this is, X is so slow today. Trump came out. Now, this was trending. That Trump is looking at nominating Harmeet Dillon as number 3, right? And one of the things that was interesting on this, now this is not as important as Portia from Real Housewives of America and her vagina. The topic of her vagina is much more important to the American people than Harmeet Dillon being potentially given the number 3 spot at the DOJ. That's we got to understand what's important here, and clearly, Portia's much more important. So one of the things that's interesting is I saw this post by Jared Wise everywhere. And I'm going to read some of this because this is really important. And this is one of the problems we're facing in this country. Because when we talk about the failure of Pam Bondi, and I mean epic, profound failure of Pam Bondi, she was absolutely the most useless attorney general. I think she's just as bad as Bill Barr and Merrick Garland. So Jared Wise, who I believe was a J6, who says, I believe that promoting Harmeet Dillon within the Department of Justice would be a disaster for J6 defendants. and diminish any hope of holding people accountable for that, right? Now, this is really fundamental because what did we elect Donald Trump for? We elected him because we wanted accountability. Did we get any accountability? No. Are we going to get any accountability? I doubt it. This AG is completely broken. Unless we go a completely new direction, it's just not going to happen. So I'm praying that Trump does. He's got an opportunity, but this is going to make or break midterms for him. So I see this push for Harmeet. Well, here's the deal. This is from Jared Wise. Harmeet is apparently taking the establishment view of J6 from the beginning, as evidenced by her J6 2021 Twitter post, where she wrote, "This scene at the U.S. Capitol is shocking and disgraceful. The mob violence, the left has habitually engaged in these past years is despicable, but no way excuses these crimes." So she goes right into it, right? This guy says in his J6 nightmare, he smoked with Harmeet and asked for help from her civil rights organization. She said, nope. J6 defendants are on their own. So she wouldn't defend them, even though she's got a big organization capable of doing some good things. She probably could have done some good things if she'd have got involved. He goes on and says that as AAG civil rights for more than a year, she's done little or nothing to investigate or expose the abuses of J6 defendants. That's true. She has. No one in this justice. Now, I'm going to give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because she worked for Pam Bondi, who wouldn't let her do anything. But Harmeet is much more establishment mainstream, much more. And she's been defending Pam Bondi this whole time. That's a disaster. To me, if you've been defending Pam Bondi, you are not and should not be in any sort of a high position at the DOJ. Pam Bondi was implementing a two-tiered system of justice. She lied about Epstein. She lied about everything. She wouldn't investigate anybody. Pam Bondi was a disaster. I have watched Harmeet Dillon defend Pam Bondi endlessly. I'm sorry. I appreciate a lot of what Harmeet's done, and she does good work on certain things. But her defense of Pam Bondi is absolutely inexcusable. It's indefensible, and in my opinion, disqualifies her from consideration for high position in the DOJ. Should she still be there and doing things? Sure. I don't mind her being there. I think she does some good things, but I think she should be given a leadership position, not unless she's going to come out and correct the record, not unless she shows she's going to go in a different direction. She isn't doing it. And I've got some other information on it that I'm not going to get into. I can't. It's privilege. But I don't think that it's the right move. Everybody calling for her as AG, I'm sorry, she's not the right person for AG at all. And luckily, we know that's not going to be an issue. I want an AG who's going to lead and go after accountability, even when it's politically untenable. I don't care about the politics. I want actual effort to go after real things. It was politically untenable for Joe Biden's FBI to target and DOJ to target parents who were speaking out at school boards, but they did it anyways. Why? Because they don't care. They did what they were going to do. They may have been evil, but they stood for their evil. We don't have anybody that'll stand for our good. We need people who will stand for good. We need people who will stand on principle. Biden and his administration stood for their principles. Their principles were selling their souls because they were evil, right? The principles they stood for were horrible, selling out. We need someone who will stand for good principles. We need leadership. We need people who are brave. We don't need people like Todd Blanche who are shutting down Ed Martin and his weaponization stuff, despite the president, saying go ahead with it. We need to get rid of these people and bring in decent people, but that's not what we're doing. This is an appalling thing. So anyways, you've got all this happening and, but none of this comes close to the importance of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Here you go. Let's play this one. This is really important. I want you guys to hear. That was a 5-second clip. That was a 5-second promo clip. We need that, right? We need these 5-second promo clips. Here's another one. Let's play it. stuck. They're looking at each other. This is trending, folks. This is trending. This is what's trending. Here is Drew Sidora. This is trending.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to everybody that I may have offended.
She's sorry.
I'm a bitch, and I'm here to say I'm sorry.
Volume's a little low, but she's sorry. And she's making faces. This is trending, folks. This is so much more important than the Attorney General of the United States. This is really key. I don't. Oh, this one's talking. Here's a talking one. This is an important one. Let's learn from the wisdom.
That's why I do P. Miss P, bring on the shade, girl. Mm-hmm. That's why I do P. Miss P, bring on the shade, girl. Mm-hmm. That's why I do P. Miss P, bring on the shade, girl.
I don't know what to say about that. I don't have any witty commentary for that. Nothing. I got to be honest. I don't know what the P means or the shake. I don't understand any of it. I don't get it. But it's trending. It's very important. Here's another. This is trending, folks. Here it is.
We waiting on the other group member.
Yeah.
SWV. We went.
Right. Because we do have 3 singers. Shami is also a singer too.
Oh well.
Am I
Not
trending
happy.
now?
Stop this damn SWV when I gotta make a living off this. You keep talking about this guy. That's just like me putting you with a damn team with motherfuckers that ain't never dribbled.
I'm gonna make them better though. I don't care.
Hell, but
I play with Ray Charles and Stevie
I
Wonder.
ain't get no money.
What does any of this mean?
Look, Charles is an asshole. I don't know nothing about Charles, but I relate to assholes.
She was a singer. She is a singer still.
I don't understand. Folks, this is a shameless attempt for me to grift off the popularity of RHOA and to become trendy and cool, because if I play these videos, this is how I get cool, right? Much more important than anything else. Much more important than little things like this. Steve Kirsch, right? Now Steve Kirsch does not talk about Portia's vagina or her 9-month dry period. I'm sorry, Steve, you are not as cool as RHOA, because you do not talk about Portia's sex life or lack thereof or anything of the sort. It's a very, very sad thing, because if you did, you might be able to make this trend. Please repost. Nobody knows this. The first autistic child diagnosed in 1932. Guess when aluminum was first added to vaccines? Yep, 1932, before the first case. What a coincidence. Now, for any of us that pay attention to autism or care about it, and here is a screenshot of this study, which is really kind of interesting to me. Diphtheria toxoid precipitated with meaning aluminum. This is an interesting thing, right? Or alum. But this is an interesting thing, right? And this is a neat, pretty good thread. This is the first child ever diagnosed with autism, right? And aluminum is absolutely tied to it. Now, the aluminum that they put in all these vaccines is, I would put any money you wanted to put down on the fact that this aluminum, this is likely the cause of a vast majority of autism cases that we see. I think the aluminum is a big deal. It's in everything. They're poisoning us with it, and they're now spraying the skies with it, right? At least if you believe in the chemtrails, right? But this is interesting. When you look in here, they go through this whole thing about aluminum. And within a year or two, accounts of parents noticing aloneness in their children or obsession with repetitive patterns and and behaviors begin to appear. Right. So this aluminum appears to be a neurotoxin. And it seems like we've known about this for a long time. Baltimore, famous child psychiatrist Leo Kanner began to see in children, mostly boys, show up in Baltimore's clinic with strange behaviors he'd never seen before. In 1935, Kanner published a 500-page book on child psychiatry, the largest such book in the world. He mentioned nothing resembling autism. It's clear he'd never seen or heard of it, right? So this autism wasn't really there. It didn't exist until about 1932, and it wasn't very widely known. It wasn't something that was really out there. And shortly after the introduction of autism into the public through things like vaccines, we start seeing the explosion of this new thing. And as you go through this, you can see over and over again, this is a very, very good clip. Very, very, thread. He goes through and he kind of lays out that, is there some sort of a correlation here? Now, it's funny because, Trump and Kennedy were talking about Tylenol. And Tylenol could absolutely be, related to or tied to the outbreak of autism. But that certainly is not the root cause, right? I mean, we know that vaccines, after the 85 Act, when vaccines started exploding, that's when autism exploded. But autism existed before vaccines. So where did it come from? And it seems like the correlation ties in with the introduction of aluminum into these vaccines and into some of these things. This is an interesting thing. Is aluminum actually the original cause, and is it the primary driver of autism? And, if you read through this is a very, very well done thread by Forrest Meretti, who I don't really know who he is, but did a great job on this. It looks, and he lays out a very good case, and it's something that ought to be investigated properly. It looks like there may be a direct correlation between the use of aluminum and the advent of autism. Is a single ingredient primarily responsible for the advent and the essentially the existence of autism? And the answer to that may be, well, yeah, at least strongly. Now, does that mean it's the only driving factor? No. Does it mean that things like Tylenol can't make it worse or make it more profound? No. Does it mean that Tylenol might not be a cause? No, it doesn't. But it does mean, or does suggest, that there's a correlation between the original recognition of autism and these strange new behaviors that were occurring and the introduction of aluminum into medicines. So, I mean, this is a huge deal. It's a huge deal. It's not as important as Real Housewives of America. It's not even close. But it seems like a very, very important thing that we ought to be looking into because, I mean, this is something that's really kind of, our kids, right? Every time you give them a vaccine, they've got aluminum in them. Every one of these things has aluminum. There may be something that doesn't, but just about all of them. We give this kid so much aluminum, what happens? And how do you get it out of your system? Does it get out of your system? Does it stay in your system? How long? We really need to be looking at the aluminum as a factor. Now, there was a scientist out of UK who basically lost everything. He is a big, big researcher on aluminum, did a bunch of work on this, and he started breaking information on this, and essentially he was completely destroyed. The entire medical establishment went after him. They destroyed him. They destroyed his life. They destroyed his career. I can't remember the guy's name, but the aluminum thing really seems to be a thing for us. And I think we need to dig into that a little bit further. It's not as important as Real Housewives of America, but it's pretty important, right? It's also not as important as Scott Pressler and John Cornyn, right? Scott Pressler, he's a very big activist. A very big, clean up the votes activist, trying to get rid of the corruption in elections, that sort of stuff. Scott Pressler, he does a good job. And he's been pushing for the SAVE Act real hard, which unfortunately has been tied to Real ID, which really just is, biometric track and trace type stuff. But Pressler's been pushing for it. Pressler is now rallying for Ken Paxton, doing whatever he can, because Cornyn will not support the SAVE Act, which Cornyn's never going to support the SAVE Act. He's never going to. He's a rhino. Thune and Cornyn, they don't want the SAVE Act. The only reason they might allow the SAVE Act is if they can water it down and push real ID while still making the SAVE Act meaningless. This could be, listen, the SAVE Act is sitting here. Everybody knows that we need it. Congress doesn't want to do it just because they're corrupt, because the Republicans use that. I still think, and I've said this before, I think they may be forced to pass it, but they're waiting as long as possible because they need to use no ID voting to get these corrupt rhinos into power, right? They can't have the SAVE Act in place as it is, because if they do, Republicans use voter fraud just like the Democrats. So unless we're able to, they're able to do that, you're going to start. What would happen is if we actually had fair elections, the primaries would go. There'd be no more John Cornyns, right? Guys like Thune would be gone immediately. What would happen is we'd actually start getting mega conservatives in as Republicans, because the primaries are all rigged. So they don't want this, and they're trying to at least delay until after as many primaries as possible so that certain key rhinos can continue to have their position. That's what they're trying to do with this. So I expect the SAVE Act's going to pass. Potentially. I mean, if they can avoid it, they're going to, but I think they're going to have to do it. But they want to wait until there's enough rhinos so that after they get rid of Trump, they can try and repeal it or roll it back or do something, right? They don't want that SAVE Act there. So I don't know, guys. Like I said, when I looked at the news today, it's pretty depressing, because it's like people just don't understand the importance of what's happening in this country. And we're focused on things like RHOA instead of things like who our attorney general is going to be. I don't understand that. I think it's an appalling thing. We've got to get back on our feet, get refocused on America. I'm going to leave you with, we're going to play out one more time. Michelle Obama's got a penis, because I just think that's great. Guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Support us. GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. TomRenz.com. GlobalHealing.com/TomRenz. Support our sponsors. Thank you guys for listening, and we will be back tomorrow.
The earth is flat. Yeah, Epstein's alive. And JFK was killed by the FBI. Yeah, the CIA is listening to your phone. You really need to pay attention to a guy named Alex Jones, 'cause there's 5G floating all in the air. Turning frogs into sissy queers and spreading cancer everywhere. I'm not sure if you've heard this yet, but keep it between us. Yeah, Michelle Obama, well, man, she's got a penis. Yeah, Michelle Obama's got a penis. And if you're looking real hard, you can sort of see it. We never landed on the moon. The end of the world is coming soon. And Michelle Obama, man, she's got a penis. Israeli lasers and Asian UFOs. Yeah, there's a Nazi hideout down the South Pole. They got the Ark of the Covenant locked in a wooden case. Yeah, the Denver International Airport is the Illuminati base. I'm not even gonna bring up 9/11. But what the hell happened to building number 7? Did I mention Alex Jones yet. Well, he's a goddamn genius. And Michelle Obama